All persons having any business before this honourable court now draw nigh and give your attendance, and you shall be heard. God save the Queen.
Admission of lawyers. Hijran Al-Khaldi.
May it please the court, I move that Hijran Al-Khaldi be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Hijran Al-Khaldi be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Nizar Ali.
May it please the court, I move that Nizar Ali be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Nizar Ali be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Victoria Marie Asquith.
May it please the court, I move that Victoria Marie Asquith be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Victoria Marie Asquith be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Erin Susan Baker.
May it please the court, I move that Erin Susan Baker be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
That Erin Susan Baker be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Sean Francis Butter.
May it please the court, I move that Sean Francis Butter be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Sean Francis Butter be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Emily Finn Carr.
May it please the court, I move that Emily Finn Carr be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Emily Finn Carr be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Hashita Satyaveni Chamakuri.
May it please the court, I move that Hashitha Satyaveni Kamakuri be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Hashita Satyaveni Kamakuri be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Hulam Catherine Chan.
May it please the court, I move that Hu Lam Catherine Chan be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Hulam Catherine Chan be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Nashita Chowdhury.
May it please the court, I move that Nashita Chowdhury be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Nashita Chowdhury be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Tyler James Cotter.
May it please the court, I move that Tyler James Cotter be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Tyler James Cotter be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Yishan Tsui.
May it please the court, I move that Yishan Shui be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Yishan Shui be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Renata Tsevetskovska.
May it please the court, I move that Renata Svetkovska be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Renata Svetkovska be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Tan Kwok Dang.
May it please the court, I move that Tan Kwok Dan be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Tan Kwok Dang be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Ryan Dosky.
May it please the court, I move that Ryan Dosky be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Ryan Dosky be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Rachel Louise Dermish.
May it please the court, I move that Rachel Louise Dermish be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Rachel Louise Dermish be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Clayton Bevis Eddy.
May it please the court, I move that Clayton Bevis Eddy be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Clayton Bevis Eddy be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Timothy Brian Robert Forrest.
May it please the court, I move that Timothy Brian Robert Forrest be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Timothy Brian Robert Forrest be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Daniela Glavin.
May it please the court, I move that Daniela Glavin be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Daniela Glavin be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Riley Kevin Goldspink Lord.
May it please the court, I move that Riley Kevin Goldspink Lord be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Riley Kevin Goldspink Lord be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Charlie John Garrett.
May it please the court, I move that Charlie John Garrett be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Charlie John Garrett be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Uma Sundarawani Gunaratne.
May it please the court, I move that Uma Sandawani Guatni be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Uma Sundarani Gunaratri be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
MD Zulfikar Nazarul Haq.
May it please the court, I move that MD Zulfikar Nazarul Haq be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let MD Zulfikar Nazarul Haq be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Michelle Ann Harradine.
May it please the court, I move that Michelle Ann Harradine be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Michelle Ann Harradine be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Ashley Chloe Heritage.
May it please the court, I move that Ashley Chloe Heritage be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Ashley Chloe Heritage be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Eloise Jane Howard.
May it please the court, I move that Eloise Jane Howard be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Eloise Jane Howard be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Michelle Hall.
May it please the court, I move that Michelle Hull be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Michelle Hull be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Jessica Margaret Johnston.
May it please the court, I move that Jessica Margaret Johnston be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Jessica Margaret Johnston be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Brian Lay.
May it please the court, I move that Brian Lay be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Brian Lay be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Key-In Layboard.
May it please the court, I move that Ki-Yin Layboard be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let King Layboard be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Suyu Liu.
May it please the court, I move that Suyu Liu be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Suyi Liu be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Jacinta Elizabeth Mitchell.
May it please the court, I move that Jacinta Elizabeth Mitchell be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Jacinta Elizabeth Mitchell be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Alana Stephanie Novak.
May it please the court, I move that Alana Stephanie Novak be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Alana Stephanie Novak be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Susanna Louise O'Toole.
May it please the court, I move that Susanna Louise O'Toole be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Susanna Louise O'Toole be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Jamie Dimitra Palavos.
May it please the court, I move that Jamie Dimitra Palavos be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Jamie Dimitra Palavos be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Jessica G1 Park.
May it please the court, I move that Jessica G1 Park be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Jessica G1 Park be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Pooja Payal.
May it please the court, I move that Pooja Payal be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Pooja Payal be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Rhiannon Laurel Philp.
May it please the court, I move that Rhiannon Laurel Philp be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Rhiannon Laurel Philp be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Marina Raful.
May it please the court, I move that Marina Raful be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Marina Raful be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Christina Faye Robertson.
May it please the court, I move that Christina Faye Robertson be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Christina Faye Robertson be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Seri Ryu.
May it please the court, I move that Seri Rue be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Seri Ryu be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Maya Samajic.
May it please the court, I move that Maya Samajic be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Maya Samajic be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Donglei Tang.
May it please the court, I move that Donglei Tang be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Donglei Tang be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Michael Caesar Daydigan Tangnan.
May it please the court, I move that Michael Caesar Daydigan Tanganan be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Michael Caesar Daydigan Tanganan be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Paul Conrad Taylor.
May it please the court, I move that Paul Conrad Taylor be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Paul Conrad Taylor be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Matthew Allen Wade.
May it please the court, I move that Matthew Allen Wade be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Matthew Allen Wade be admitted as a lawyer of this court.
Kai Jong.
May it please the court, I move that Kai Jeong be admitted as a lawyer of this honourable court.
Let Kai Jong be admitted as a lawyer of this court. Thank you, Registrar. Now that the formal moving of lawyers has ended, I'd like to warmly welcome you to this virtual admission ceremony at the Supreme Court of New South Wales. Present with me on the bench today is Justice Irace, who is a member of the Common Law Division. Together we constitute the court that has, in the exercise of its jurisdiction, admitted you to practice. As we gather for this celebration, physically dispersed, I'd like to begin by recognising the various traditional lands on which we meet. The ceremony is streamed from the Banco Court, which is located on the land of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. I acknowledge these traditional custodians and pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. We recognise the long-standing and enduring customs and traditions of Australia's First Nations and acknowledge with deep regret the role our legal system has had in perpetrating many injustices against Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. To all you lawyers watching today, welcome to the legal profession. The admission ceremony may be different to what you were expecting. These are challenging times when you are unable to be admitted in person. However, your admission, conducted remotely, reflects the agility and adaptability which you will need to possess as lawyers in an age of great change. This is a time for celebration. You've all worked extremely hard to get to this point, through caffeine-fuelled nights and obscure problem questions, reading countless wafer-thin pages of textbook and more cases than you can ever hope to remember. You have entered the world of eggshell skulls, encountered a mysterious reasonable person, and have understood that the Constitution consists of so much more than the vibe of the thing. In becoming a lawyer, you have joined a centuries-old profession with ancient origins. The custom of advocates swearing an admissions oath dates back to the 12th century. This court has admitted lawyers to practice, first admitted lawyers to practice in 1824, and by 1830 the names of lawyers were entered onto rolls in this state. You have now become part of this tradition almost 200 years later. Perhaps for some of you, that is how long it feels like you've been studying. For many of you, no doubt, the support of your family and friends over this period has been invaluable. No doubt they have also been on the receiving end of your finely polished skills of argument and persuasion. I do hope you take the time to thank them today. The oath or affirmation you made before this ceremony is a serious one and deserves solemn regard. Whether you work in private practice, at the bar, in a community legal centre, or in an entirely different field, you should be known for your honesty, your integrity, and your commitment to justice. It is in acknowledgement of this weighty responsibility that we observe today's unique formalities, including the moving of lawyers and our somewhat unusual choice of fashion. On a lighter note, I recall on one occasion some years ago, a young member of the audience asked if we were doing Santa photos after the ceremony. Regrettably, I had to tell him we were not. However, although we mark this occasion with formality and tradition, not everything in the legal profession remains unchanging. You'll be unsurprised to hear that over the past year and a half, we've had to adapt quite a bit, as you can see today. COVID-19 has meant a rapid shift to increased use of virtual courtroom setups and technology to ensure access to justice continues in the midst of a pandemic. Things don't always go smoothly, as those with me on the bench can probably attest to. There have been real difficulties to grapple with in terms of open justice, effective communication, and fairness to participants. And occasionally, a lawyer might even get stuck behind a Zoom kitten filter. But for all the changes we are facing, the impetus is greater than ever before for us to prioritise flexibility and accessibility. Better use of technology and increased working from home arrangements have profound implications for how our legal system interacts with many people, including those in rural or remote areas, those with a disability, medical conditions, or carers' responsibilities. As the newest members of the profession, you are at the forefront of innovation in the law and have a unique opportunity to see through changes so that justice is done openly and equitably. There are, of course, other changes which deserve attention. When we think of the diversity of the legal profession, we encounter the duality that we have come very far and that much still needs to be done. Though women were originally not permitted to practice, since 2018, women have made up more than half of all solicitors with a practicing certificate in New South Wales and currently make up 63% of solicitors under the age of 30. Women occupy many of the most senior positions in the law, including, of course, the Chief Justice of Australia. However, women continue to face challenges of representation, including amongst judges of this court and amongst, for example, barristers in speaking roles before the High Court of Australia. On the other hand, it is heartening to see that the local court of New South Wales has almost achieved gender parity amongst magistrates, but we must not be complacent about these issues. There are other noticeable diversity concerns that we must face head-on. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples and people from diverse cultural backgrounds continue to be alarmingly underrepresented in the legal profession, and particularly amongst the judiciary and the ranks of senior counsel. We must also be alert to barriers to the profession for people from less privileged backgrounds. Law should not be a profession for the wealthy, and the idea that students may be dissuaded from studying law by the cost of a law degree, which this year has again increased, or because of other systemic issues, is troubling. Not just this, but we will only achieve a truly diverse profession when barriers to advancement are broken down and people from different backgrounds are properly supported in a collegiate and inclusive environment free from harassment and discrimination. These issues are fundamental to a just and transparent legal system and to the legitimacy of the rule of law. We need diverse representation amongst advocates and judges so that all people who become involved in our justice system can be properly heard and fairly engaged with by a system reflective of our broader community. Despite these challenges, there is real scope for change. There is far greater diversity of background amongst junior lawyers than those who have been around as long as me. You are in a unique position as new lawyers who are entering the profession at a time when more than ever your words and actions are having an impact for good. You are being heard and taken seriously when you agitate to correct injustices, whether it be speaking out about unsustainable working cultures, sexual harassment or bullying within the profession, unfair law or systemic failings affecting our society's most vulnerable. I urge you to continue to speak up for these things. They do matter. You are the future of the profession and will steer the direction that it will take. As a lawyer, you will also need to make difficult ethical decisions at times. With regard to our personal characteristics, lawyers have been the butt of jokes for centuries. Some would say there are, of course, only a few lawyer jokes, the rest are true stories. But jokes aside, you must use the tools you have developed to think critically and not compromise on your fundamental duties to the court and the administration of justice, and also the other ethical duties you must uphold. Now that you are lawyers, you can get paid to argue instead of just arguing for free. Of course, there is a lot more to it than that. You are an advisor, a problem solver, a mediator, and an advocate for the marginalised. As you go about your day-to-day work, remember that you're not merely dealing with the law in a vacuum, but law as it applies to people's lives. For this reason, you must strive to deliver legal services competently and fearlessly with courtesy and integrity. Justice Gageler, before he was a High Court judge, once said, "You must be prepared to give the same answers to the same question for the same reasons, no matter who asked the question or for what purpose or in what context the asking may occur." That is foundational to upholding the rule of law. For those of you who will practice law, the way you communicate information to others will have profound consequences for access to justice. For a non-lawyer, law is often incomprehensible. One of your roles as a lawyer will be to make law accessible to others, sometimes by deciphering legal complexities, other times by deciphering poor legal drafting, and sometimes both. One thing you will regrettably strike throughout your career is legislation which seems carefully crafted with the object of ensuring that no one can understand it. Your task is not just to understand it, but to explain it clearly to those whose rights and interests are affected by it. As lawyers, we must not keep the law locked up as something knowable only to us. We must come down from the ivory tower. A client reading your advice should be empowered to understand your meaning, not mystified and confused. So be clear and concise in your writing and your speaking. Plain English is powerful. Consider, do I really need to say aforementioned or herewith? Must I sprinkle in that Latin phrase? Should I really use double negatives, tautologies and wordy clauses that take up a whole page? I would suggest the answer to these questions is usually no. The best advocates can make their points simply and succinctly. Some of the most experienced lawyers and judges could also use that reminder, but don't pick up their bad habits. I also want to speak about failure. I'd not be surprised if there are quite a few overachievers and perfectionists watching this live stream today. Even so, at various points of your career, you'll make mistakes, some minor, some more serious. When you do make mistakes, your commitment to honesty, integrity, and the administration of justice means that you must take responsibility, correct what you can, and learn from those errors. You must fail at times in order to grow. What is important is that you try not to make the same mistake twice. I myself have made many mistakes over the years, far too many to remember. And even as Chief Justice, my decisions on occasions have been successfully appealed to the High Court. On those occasions, I'm forced to remind myself, through gritted teeth, that the fact that the High Court is never wrong is not merely a legal fiction, but occasionally even dissenting judgments sometimes become the law. Finally, I want to emphasise that your mental health is extremely important. This may sound unexpected at this type of ceremony, but the law is not everything. There may be times when you feel overwhelmed, burnt out and distressed. If you do, you should not be afraid to seek professional help or take a step back when you need to. Also, remember the law is a collegiate profession, and in times of difficulty, the support of your peers will prove invaluable. I found that throughout my practicing career. Although you might find it hard to believe, I was admitted quite a long time ago. I lost my first case, and I lost many more after that. But throughout my 35 years in practice, I could always count on other barristers on my floor to share my disappointment at the unfairness of the verdict, the sly tactics of opposing counsel, and most often, I regret to say, the obtuseness of the judge or judges before whom I was appearing. I hasten to add, I do not include my colleague on the bench in that comment. On behalf of all the judges of the Supreme Court, and particularly the two of us sitting on the bench today, I once again congratulate you on your admission and welcome you to the legal profession. The court will now adjourn.
Silence all stand.